I'm Tess Hohers, and I am in Case Study Group A. My student Jill, who is in second grade, appears to be struggling in reading with shared text in social studies and science. She is an active student, and her ability to focus on anything is limited. She is reading fluently at about a 1.8 level. Jill has a good conversational vocabulary, and her writing abilities are one grade below. The purpose of this lesson is to help Jill understand sentence structure and the correct sequence of a story. My standards are RF 1.1, demonstrate understanding of organization and basic features of print. So point A is recognize and distinguish features of a sentence. My second standard that I have is RL 5.2. That describes the overall structure of a story, including describing how the beginning introduces the story and the ending concludes the action. My student will be able to sequence words and sentences as well as sequencing details and order in a story. The assessments that I have are retelling and sentence dictation. I would use them before my lesson with Jill. Retelling is where a student reads a short story, and at the end of the story, I ask her to state anything that she remembers from the story, and she would just list off every detail that she could remember. And when she feels like she doesn't remember anything else, I'll ask her one more time just to make sure. And then every detail that she remembered counts as a point towards her score. The purpose of this assessment is to help me understand what she actually remembers when she's reading. It also helps me see her level of comprehension for what she is reading. Jill will need to receive an 85% on retelling to be able to move on to her next level. My next assessment, sentence dictation, is where I just say a sentence, and while the student listens, after I finish saying the sentence, the student repeats the sentence out loud and then writes the sentence on a paper. The student is awarded points for each word, as well as correct spelling and capitalization and punctuation. The purpose of this assessment is to see how much she can remember, and then being able to put it in written form. Because she is at a grade lower in writing, I want to see what she can do for comprehension of what I can say and what she can write down, and just to see how her spelling is also. This is also a good indication for that. Jill will need to have each word written down, capitalization, punctuation, and have at least 75% of the words spelled correctly to move on to the next level from that. Hey Jill, we're going to work on 2 different activities today.
Okay.
It's going to help you with structuring sentences and sequencing stories. So Start off with this sentence. I want you to read it out loud, and then I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to scramble it up.
Okay.
So it's all out of order and it won't make sense. The purpose of this activity is to help you know that a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a punctuation, like a period or a question. Okay? So, I want you to read this sentence first.
Mr. Jeremy stuck his pole into the mud and fastened the boat to it.
Yep, and this one is fastened. Can you say fastened?
Fastened.
Good job. Okay, so now I'm going to cut up this sentence. While you're doing this, I want you to whisper it to yourself, or either read it out loud so both of us can hear, so it helps you understand.
Mr. Jeremy stuck the pole into...
Okay, now are you completed with the sentence?
Mr. Jeremy stuck the pole into the mud and fastened his boat to it.
Good job.
Yep.
So how did you know that you were done? that you completed the sentence, putting it back in order?
Well, I used all the pieces, and I made sure it started with a capital and ended with a period.
Good job.
And I knew they talked about the pool before they talked about the boat.
Good job. Okay, now I want you to write this sentence in your writing journal. The next activity that we're going to do is looking back at our story that we just read previously about Jeremy Fisher.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the four main ideas from the story. There is a beginning, a middle, two middles, middle main ideas, and an ending.
Okay.
They are out of order right now.
Okay.
Okay? Your goal is to put them back in order by dragging the boxes to the right, in the right order, into the right box. Okay? The purpose of this is to help you remember the main ideas of the story and to use your sequencing words like beginning, middle, and end. Like you remember some of your sequencing words? Okay? So, let's read the sentences together so you know what they all say.
Okay.
And so you can begin from there.
Okay.
Jeremy came in from the water and took some.
So now I can move them into the right place?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to start with this because it says once upon a time. And then this one says at the end of the day. So that's going to go ending.
So let's look over. How'd you know that for the beginning, once upon a time, there was a frog called Mr. Jeremy Fisher who was in the right box?
Because it has once upon a time in it, which can help with sequencing to know that it's at the start.
Yes, most fairy tales and books like that start with once upon a time. Good job. Now, a big trout came and almost ate Jeremy. So, did Mr. Jeremy almost get eaten by a trout first or after he had lunch? Let's look back at the story as a reference just to check, okay?
Oh, after he got lunch.
Oh, yeah.
So this one goes there.
Good job. Sometimes we need to look back at our story to help us remember the main ideas to go in right order. That was a good tool. This is a good tool to use to look back at a story.
Okay.
Good job. And how did you know that the ending was correct?
Because it was talking about the end of the day.
Yeah, that is right. Usually when it says at the end or finally or in conclusion, it means it's the end. It's part of the ending.
Okay.
Good work today.
Thanks, Miss H.
So I will see you tomorrow and have a good rest of your day.
Okay.